Hey, this is Charlie from the Maine Play Week. What you're about to listen to is a full unedited conversation with the writer, director, and actor, Sam Dunning. He is up here in Maine in promotion of his new film, Canoe Dig It, which is being shown as a part of the Maine Outdoor Film Festival. If you are listening to this on Thursday, July 24th, you're in luck because the film is still showing tonight at 8 p.m. at Space Gallery. Otherwise, be sure to be on the lookout. You can follow the movie on Instagram at Canoe Dig It Film. Otherwise, we hope you enjoy this conversation and, yeah, enjoy.
Kind of testing things.
Oh, by the way, should I watch my language?
Oh, no. Go for
Okay,
it.
good.
Definitely not.
Great. No, I just always ask because, like, you know,
Yeah.
some festivals.
Sorry, one
Go ahead. Some festivals are,
Oh, God, that was
you know, more chaste in other.
Oh.
But I'm, you know.
Well, we're not even. It's
I
not
live
even.
in New York. I swear all the time.
Of course, of course. Well, we're not. This isn't even. Well, I guess like this is for our own thing, the Maine Play Week, not
Yeah.
necessarily MOF, but also
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
it's all. It's a very small world of film in Maine, as you know.
I do. Found that out.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love to hear that story. Sounds like a story.
So it's like making any movie. It's just a collection of various stories, good and bad, all the above.
I love it. I love it. All right. Well, we good to just roll right in? Okay, cool. Okay, so I just have like some questions.
Sure.
So I'll be reading from here slightly. But just to introduce yourself, actually, first I want to say welcome to the Maine Play Week and welcome back to Maine.
Thank you. Thank you.
So introduce yourself and brief descriptor of your film.
My name is Sam Dunning. I was born here in Portland and then grew up 30 minutes north in Brunswick. And I currently live in Brooklyn, New York, but I come back to Maine, I'd say, at least once a month, if not more when I can, because why wouldn't I? It's the best place. My film is called Canoe Dig It, and it is a mockumentary comedy about freestyle canoeing, which is technically a real thing. And it's very much in line with Christopher Guest movies like Best in Show, and it follows 6 competitors as they travel up to a national competition in Maine to decide who is top paddler.
Top paddler.
Yeah.
So tell me more about this sport. Like, how did you realize that this sport existed, and also, like, how did you know that you wanted to make a film about it?
So I wrote this during lockdown because I came up for what was supposed to be a long weekend early in March. And it was right after I wrapped on a short film, and I hadn't been home since Christmas, and that was a long stint for me to not be home. So I was like, well, and I was supposed to start on another big project right after that. So I was like, well, this seems to be the only window I'll have to like get home for a bit, and then ended up staying for 7 months because everything shut down. Which I hate to say it, but like, you know, a lot of people had a really terrible time during COVID. I had a great time because I was trapped in Maine, and it was kind of what I want. Most of the time, it's like, oh, I have nothing to do but enjoy Maine and just kind of solitude, and just hanging out at my mom's house. So it's great.
Yeah.
So with all that downtime, you know, a lot of your day is spent sharing memes and shit with friends, like on Instagram, just so you feel like you have some sort of connection with anyone outside of your little bubble. And a friend of mine who was also stuck up in Maine, she sent me a video of this gentleman named Mark Ornstein doing a set of freestyle canoeing to Krista Berg's Lady in Red. And if you Google freestyle canoeing, it is the first thing that will come up because it is the one like viral video. And as a result of it, Mark Ornstein is sort of like a weird, like sort of pseudo-viral celeb in his own way because of it, which I think he both enjoys and hates. I think a lot of the community feels similarly. Anyway, she sent me that video, and I was so charmed by it and also just mystified, like, what in the world is this? And just purely to entertain myself, a week later, I just started writing a mockumentary of like what I imagined this subculture might be like. And I did zero research and just wrote just purely to make myself laugh. And then sent it to a friend of mine who's a producer, and she read it, and she's like, oh my God, we have to figure out how to get this made. This is great. And so then the funny part is that when I did start doing research on it, I found I was actually pretty on the money with that, with the community and how some people are, and like how a lot of the, you know, the competitions that used to take place go and stuff like that.
Wow.
So yeah, that's how I came around to it.
Wow, that's so funny. So I also found the Mark Ornstein video like years ago, because I am a canoeing nerd. Like I grew up canoeing at camp. I love canoeing. I have a solo boat, and
nice.
yeah, so I try to get out there. And like this sport like also kind of I was like, what the hell is this? And then I saw this mockumentary about like, and I was like, oh my gosh, somebody made a mockumentary about like, this is amazing.
I mean, it kind of wrote itself. It was just
Yeah.
like, you know, I didn't have to do a heck of a lot. You know, it's freestyle canoe. You don't have to do anything to elevate it to be entertaining as a sport, or to be like this weird niche thing, because it already is a weird niche thing.
Right.
And it's just sort of fascinating that there is a small culture of people that are so, you know, possessed by this, you know, this thing, and are so obsessed with it that they continue to do it. And
So
have such passion for
the
it.
folks that you reached out to initially, I'm assuming Mark Ornstein and other folks, were they like kind of aware of what you wanted to do? Like, did they kind of get it, or were they
this is an interesting part of the story. Before I reached out to them for help, I made a Kickstarter, less to raise the full funds for the film and more just to kind of like show to everyone like, oh, we're seriously doing this. And it's sort of like more PR than anything else. Though I was trying to raise money as well. But as a part of that, I made a little teaser video to go with it, and I directed it like a bad car commercial, like very intentionally like cheesy and goofy and very backwoodsy kind of like feel to it. And apparently the freestyle canoeing community caught wind of that somehow and saw it. And so when I reached out to Mark and his wife Molly, they were very cagey about even like talking with us.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I reached out to them because I said, well, if you know, to do this movie correctly, we need people that can actually do the moves in the boats, because it's really, really, really hard, even though it looks extremely simple.
I've tried it. It's extremely hard, and you fall out a lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
Despite it looking like the easiest thing in the world.
Yeah.
And I knew that if we didn't have that, then the comedy literally has to change in the movie, because then it becomes like a pastiche. It becomes like, all right, we're literally just making fun of this. And I was like, well, that's not what I want. I don't want to make fun of this. I just want to portray this accurately and then have funny characters. And then kind of have it be like having fun with like Maine culture and just like the weird things about our state and what a like kind of lovely, odd little place it is. And anyway, so when I reached out, he and his wife were a little cagey about getting involved, and so ultimately I went out to one of their symposiums that they still have. They had one in Ohio. Mm-hmm. And so I went out to that and spent a long weekend just learning some basic maneuvers. But when Mark was there, when I first met with him, he sat down with me and said, a lot of people told me not to talk to you. And I was like,
whoa.
And so the whole weekend I was just like walking on eggshells trying to be like, I'm not an asshole. I promise I'm not an asshole.
Right.
Like, I just want to like show this for what it is and maybe get a couple laughs along the way.
Right.
Not making fun of you guys.
Right. Well, because people, I mean, people in Maine, and I know he's not necessarily from, like, the community as a whole is not like born in Maine, but no. Those kinds of communities can be like pretty afraid of, you know, like there's politics and you know, like there's stuff that there's stereotypes, there's stuff that they can assume about you.
And they've also been like, you know, the very few times they're ever mentioned, it's usually in a mocking way. Like, I think like Portlandia did a very small sketch where Fred Armisen pretends to be basically Mark Ornstein, and of course he doesn't know how to do any of the moves, so he's just kind of like doing goofy stuff in a boat.
Right.
And so that was a big reason they were so like kind of gatekeepy about it. But I think over that weekend I proved that I was not an asshole, or at least enough of one. And then ultimately Mark and his wife Molly reached out to me and said, hey, I think it would be in our best interest actually to help you with this, because clearly you're making it either way. And if it's not represented, if the sport is not represented correctly, then we understand that you would have to resort to misrepresenting it. And I think that they just saw like we have an opportunity to actually like present it accurately. And so they were kind enough to come and body double for all of my actors in the movie. Some more convincingly than others, but one of my great joys through screening the film at festivals and whatnot has been the amount of people asking me like, so how long did it take to train everybody to do this? And I'd be like, we got you. Good.
You didn't notice that sneaky little movie magic in there?
Yeah, you didn't notice the wig? The very, very apparent wig? Or changing facial hair on people? All right.
Great.
I love that. We pulled it off.
Did you actually learn? You learned a few moves, you said.
I learned is barely.
Did you canoe before? Did you have any?
I'm from
background?
Maine, and so you just grow up. You'll be in a canoe at some, messing around. So like I'm zero. I would never call myself any kind of expert at anything canoe related, but you give me a canoe and a paddle and I can go to A to B.
Yeah.
I learned, it was more like that weekend, I learned some things, but nothing in any way that I could actually employ it and look convincing.
Right.
But at least, I knew how to hold the paddle correctly and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so that was enough to make it convincing, and then the body doubling did all the rest, and clever camera work.
Amazing. Yeah. Love it. Okay, so let's see. So you talked a little bit about Best in Show being an influence. Mm-hmm. Can you talk about the mockumentary genre in particular, and what kinds of aspects of the mockumentary genre were most helpful to telling this story, or to make the jokes that you wanted to make?
No, it's a good question. I mean, I watched my 3 favorite Christopher Guest movies 3 times through at least while we were gearing up for production. So it was Best in Show, Waiting for Guffman, and A Mighty Wind. Mm-hmm. So I rotated those through pretty regularly, and it was funny rewatching them. I actually found a lot of them to be almost too comedic for what I wanted to go for, because I actually really wanted our level of comedy in the movie to be so painfully dry you don't know if a joke's happening or not. Because and it kind of worked, because in a lot of the audiences that we screened for, there'll be some, there are broad jokes that people laugh at, but then there's a few where me and one other person involved in the movie will go but the rest of the room is silent, and then maybe one person over there goes, ha! And you're just like, yes, that's for that guy.
Yeah, exactly.
That was why we did this.
You need to have both kinds of jokes.
Right. And I think that works to our benefit and probably detriment, where it's it'll probably have a really, really fun niche audience that's will die on a hill for it, but at the same time, it's a lot of people are going to be like, yeah, it's cute. What was going on there? Yeah. And that's kind of what I wanted. Is just it's not supposed to be for everyone, but also I've lots and lots and lots of people just been really pleased with it, even if maybe not every single joke lands. They're just well, no, but it's just a really cozy, nice movie. And that actually is, I'm kind of getting off topic, but that's kind of the most meaningful thing for me, is because I wrote it during COVID, and things were crazy and depressing and anxiety inducing, and I was if we can make this movie just really comfy, then we've done our job. And I do have a certain level of the guest movies do have a certain level of that like cozy quality to them. Though I'd say his are definitely a little bit more like acerbic in places and like than we ended up being. And that's mostly because I think that like I really loved the characters we came up with. My actors fell in love with the characters that they were able to create. And so I just think that the movie is just kind of like, it's just very lovey and I keep coming back to cozy, but like it's kind of a hangout movie.
Yeah.
More than it is plot driven.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of like, I think unintentionally what I got out of a lot of the Christopher Guest movies is that like really the best comedy in those is often where they're not landing a punchline. It's just the weird interactions between people, and that's what we found in the edit of this movie. It took us a very long time to edit the movie. Originally, like our first assembly cut of everything we shot was 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Oh wow!
And it is now a 78-minute movie. So
good.
we gutted it, which was always the right idea, best thing to do.
You
but
gotta
like
kill your darlings, or
but like one thing we found is that anytime it felt like we were setting up a joke to land a joke, it was less funny. It was always funnier just to see our actors bouncing off of each other as these different characters and just like having these weird little moments between them. It's just like, oh, because you can't really write that. I mean, you can set the stage for it, but you can't. But like it has a life of its own, and it's also just the most exciting and fun thing to do because you're just like watching a bunch of people play.
Right.
And
right.
I know that is a big thing Christopher Guest does, and a lot of mockumentary makers do, is that they try to script less and more just set up the circumstance and then let people go. But we had to script because, we don't have the budget of one of those movies. Not that those have huge budgets, but they have enough of a budget to be like, all right, today we're focusing on this, and we'll just see what we get. Whereas we were like, all right, we have to focus on 17 things today because we have no time.
We only have one shoot day.
Right.
Yeah.
So what we did is we would get the scripted dialogue down for the first 2 to 3 takes, and then after that, I would just tell the actors just like, now forget all that. You know the plot points to hit, so just do it. However you want to get from A to B, go. I don't care. And we'd almost always use that.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. And you're an actor. You're an actor originally. So
Well, I actually went to film school first. Then it all kind of went over my head. I didn't really know what to do with all that information.
Fair.
Number of years, not sure what to do. Fell into acting kind of backwards. Fell in love with that. Then realized I wasn't getting the roles that I wanted. So that brought me back into filmmaking. So I was like, oh, I could make my own stuff if I wanted to.
Interesting. Yeah.
And so now it's a bit of both.
I feel like a lot of actors turn out to be like great directors because they really know how to direct the actors. I don't know. Do you find that's
I would
true?
agree, and I think that a lot of actors can become really good writers as well because your job is reading scripts most of the time. Actually, I'd say 90% of your acting career is reading scripts, and then 10% is actually getting to play any of them. Which, because you're auditioning all the time, so you're just even the things you're not working on, you're still reading all these scripts, so you know very quickly what is and is not believable dialogue, and what is not good writing in general. And so I think a lot of actors, provided they really internalize that, just naturally become really good writers.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have shown this film in Maine. You have shown this film, so you're sort of in mid-festival run, kind of. Yeah, exactly. What's it been like showing this film on the big screen?
It's been really interesting. Just because every screening gets different reactions out of different people, and yes, it's never like. I shouldn't say never. It's just interesting always what people are and are not reacting to, and how that totally fluctuates depending on where you are and what and it's been very nice to watch with crowds, just because you're always surprised with what's getting a laugh or what's getting a reaction, and you're also surprised sometimes by people's reactions. We did a private screening in Los Angeles, and we had at least one of our friends came up afterward, and she was like, I cried during your movie. And I was like,
Oh.
what? She was like, it was so sweet and nice. And I was like, oh, that wasn't what I thought. My God, like, I'm honored. I like, and she was like, no, it was like, I mean this positively. I had such a lovely time that I was just like, I'm so in love with this little world and these people. And I was like, that's so lovely. I love hearing that. One of my favorite things to hear at festivals actually is not to throw other festivals under the bus, but I'm gonna do it.
As long as you don't throw our festivals under the bus.
I'm here, aren't I? So, like, you guys are great in my book. No, but I think a lot of festivals, unfortunately, festivals are a business too, and it's very easy to forget that. And so when you transition from making a short to making a feature, because shorts you can get into a lot more festivals because it's very easy to plug in a short and find a place for it, and something 5 to 10 minutes. It's like, well, yeah, we can, if it's really good, we'll find a place for it. Features are a whole different animal politically, and so unfortunately, it just feels like a lot of festivals really are just courting whatever features will get them the most eyeballs and the most butts and seats, which it makes sense. It's a business. But with festivals, you always think that it's only championing like the most indie voice, and it's like, well, but does your movie have someone famous in it? Because that's gonna get you in.
That's so interesting.
Or is it about like a hot button issue that everyone wants to talk about right now?
Right.
That'll give prestige to this festival like having the balls to talk about that thing.
Sure. Yeah.
So unfortunately, the quality sometimes is a little less important than it is those two elements, I've found.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to throw any specific festivals under the bus or any movies under the bus, but that has been something that I found. And so at festivals that we've played, at least twice now after we've screened, someone has come up to me and gone, thank God that your movie was not about anything. Like, I've watched 7 shorts blocks on trauma today, and I can't deal with it anymore. And I'm like, yeah, because I've sat through all those shorts blocks before myself.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying any of those stories should not be told, but it is exhausting.
Yeah,
And
totally.
And speaking for myself, Mike, speaking for myself, I go to movies to get away from a lot of that and to turn my brain off for a while. And again, I think that makes us kind of a hard sell for festivals, but kind of an easier sell for everybody else.
I think this was, like, when I saw this film, because I was like, I will be honest with you, I was like, oh no, this could be super cringe. I was like, I was like, I am biased. I love the concept. I, love mockumentary, like The Office, Parks and Rec, that whole kind of comedy, love it. But I was like, I'm so scared this is going to be bad because so many like very indie films are just bad.
Well,
and and it makes it's okay. Like,
no, everybody's got to learn. But
the difference about this one is that it's good.
Well, thank you. We took
really
a long time trying to make sure it was good.
And the comedy was actually like, I was like, yeah, this is like, it's like right on the edge of like, just a little bit like, oh shoot, am I supposed to laugh at that? Like,
and that was what I wanted the whole time. It's like my favorite comedy is just stuff where it's either like elicits more of a oh, you're being clever chuckle out of somebody, or it's more of that like they're really treading the line between like.
Yeah.
And I remember a few of our early edits, people were even saying like, hey, like parts of this feel like too much like a documentary. Like you really need to like pick a lane. And I was like, no, I don't.
Yeah.
No, I do not. Actually, that's exactly what I don't want. Like I want this to be just enough of a tweener to be like, I think this is a joke.
Yeah.
But some of it feels real.
I can't wait to watch it with like this amount of people, because when I watched it, it was in person. It was with the rest of the screening committee for for MOF. So it was like 5 other people. So it was like, pretty small. And like we were all kind of chuckling at mostly the same jokes, but there were definitely times when like one person laughed, and there was definitely times when like I laughed and nobody else did, and I was like, oh. But it'll be so interesting for a larger sample size to see.
Oh, I think that's one of the most fun things for me is like just the stuff that me and my editor will giggle at, or me and my girlfriend Kelsey, who's also in the film, will giggle at, where it's just like no one else is laughing at it, but we're just like, it's just like little minutiae in it that I think we're probably too close to it, and so it's just become kind of like in jokes at this point. But like, I don't know, I think it has a lot of rewatch value, and actually something that I think really hit the nail on the head for me, and I didn't have this thought in my mind at all when I was making it, but I recently shared it with a friend of mine who's a filmmaker up in Toronto, and he and his producing partner watched it, and they were extremely kind and just said how much they really enjoyed it. And he said kind of the unsaid for me, which was that he was like, I could see this being the kind of thing that like you go up to your like summer cabin where you go for, you know, a weekend or two every summer, and there's an old decrepit DVD player and, you know, a shitty TV and a copy of this that's been worn out, like falling apart, that you just throw in, and you don't sit down to watch it. You just throw it in, you go about your day, and it runs on a loop all day, and you keep walking into various parts being like and then like and I was like, that's it. That's the kind of movie I want this to be. Is like it's tune in, tune out. Like you get what you want out of it.
Yeah, you'll pick up little kernels every time.
Right, and I think there's a lot of just thankfully inherently like quotable stuff in it, which I attribute entirely to my actors, just because like they found so much like gold with my dumb writing. But no, I just love that he said that, and he was just like, if you ever made a physical copy of it, like I need one just so I can just have it for that.
Okay, so are you gonna make VHSs? Is that in the budget?
Is that too kitschy? Like I wonder if that's like okay.
Listen, we've talked about this on the podcast, on our podcast before. I think VHS is coming back.
It definitely is. In ways.
Well, you should definitely at least you should make a Blu-ray or something at least.
Oh, I'd love to. I mean, like, you know, I think a lot of it will be predicated on like whatever distro deal we get, or
so I really wanted to ask about that. So so what is your like what are the next like 6 months look like? What does the plan look like?
It's a great question.
You're doing festivals right now. What's next?
So just basically just waiting for the festival thing to kind of peter out, however that happens. I'm still waiting to hear back on quite a few. So like it'll probably be done by like winter or like December-ish, I would imagine. And right now our plan is I don't have any faith in just cold emailing independent distributors, because you will almost assuredly get either no response or you'll get a really terrible boilerplate deal. Yeah. And that's just how the industry is, and it sucks and it's awful. And so
you don't have a sales agent or anything?
No, we don't. It's mostly just because I know I have friends that advocate for that. I also have plenty of friends that are like, with how cheap your movie is, not to say it's cheap, but like how indie your movie is, you can do more than the sales agent probably can at this stage. And you know, if you make enough of a ruckus, as it were, on your own, that might attract what you're looking for.
Interesting.
So I think basically what our plan is right now is, do you know the film Hundreds of Beavers? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So I was just going to say,
it's not the most creative thing to bring up, because like everybody's turning to it and going like, well, we're going to do what they did.
We're going to do Hundreds of Beavers. And it's going to be awesome.
It's going to make us millions. It's going to be great. It's like, yeah, sure.
Yeah. But it could work for, this is sort of in the same vein, right? Like comedy, like weird indie, nothing you've ever seen before.
They have a lot of like they had a lot going for them that we don't, as far as like their branding is like
beaver costumes.
They have beaver costumes. They have like a traveling like road show they did where they're like doing wrestling matches and shit. And it's like, well, we're not going to be doing any of that.
Right.
I wish we could, but no. But I do want to try their traveling road show idea and at least just give it a shot. Because like I know that if we were to get, we could probably get distribution, the usual VOD, TVOD thing that everybody goes through. But then what happens with all of those is that it's like for 2 weeks, it's like, check out this cool movie. And then after those 2 weeks, your movie does not exist anymore and completely disappears. And you make, at best, $20,000. Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that depresses me so much. And I'm just like, I would rather we delay that for as long as we possibly can and then put in a little extra legwork. And even if that doesn't work, it's like, well, at least we tried. And then it can go disappear and die on the Amazon Prime vine as everything else does later.
I love that. And thank you for doing that. Because I feel like a lot
don't thank me yet. We haven't done it.
Yeah. Well, thank you for wanting to do that, wanting to try.
I'll book a series regular on some TV show and go like, I'm done with this.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, it's up on streaming.
Yeah, whatever. See you later.
Whatever, yeah.
But I think that like so many filmmakers, once they finish their film, they're like, oh my gosh, I'm exhausted. Like I don't even know what to do. And
which I am, for the record.
Yes.
Like I am very much like.
Yeah. You're probably like kind of done with this.
I am, yeah.
To a certain extent, yeah.
That said, I just am like, why did I go to all this trouble of making this thing if we're just gonna?
If you're not bringing it to the right audiences, yeah.
Right? And it's like, yeah, you can hope that it'll turn into some viral something to something, but it's like, it's so hard for that to happen in any meaningful way.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, all right, well, if we can. Let's try just booking theaters ourselves and just do like a traveling thing and especially hit up areas where we just think that it would play at its strongest. So obviously Maine, I've actually been in contact with the woman who books all the theaters for Hundreds of Beavers. And
Jessica.
Yes, Jessica, yeah.
Nice.
So she spoke very highly of Maine. She was like, oh, the indie theater scene up there is like fantastic. So
sure is.
You already should do that.
Yeah.
And, if we have any trouble, I might just straight up like try and hire her because why not?
Yeah, I mean, she did a fantastic job with Hundreds of Beavers.
Yeah.
And she's been doing other stuff too.
Yeah.
She's like, so I don't know if so I work for Balcony Booking.
Okay.
Which books for theater, for like
cool.
Coolidge Corner, like Jacob Burns Film Center. We have like 20 something clients across the country. And so like we are like, like the theater's agent and like Jessica would be like the film's agent.
Gotcha.
So like
Yeah.
we email with Jessica all the time about like, hey, can we book this? Or she's coming to us being like, I have this new film. Do you think this would be a good fit for your
that's good to know. I
clients?
didn't realize. That's so cool.
Yeah. So
Small world.
Small world, yeah. And it's like it's a whole talk about like niche, niche things. It's like that's a whole kind of niche theatrical.
Oh yeah, I don't know what I'm getting myself into, but she was kind enough to like kind of talk my ear off about a lot of it.
Yeah.
She was like, because I was sort of like trying to initially going like, so would you be interested in this project? She was sort of like, you can do it yourself. You can do it yourself. You don't need me. And I was just like, okay, not a great way to market, get more money out of me.
Yeah,
but also love your honesty. Like that's great. Cause,
thank you.
But yeah, even her work she did on beavers, she was like, I did a lot for them, but like they did most of it themselves.
Yeah.
It's like just drumming up this like this zeitgeist, and
they had experience with marketing and
well, that is the one thing that like I'm like, well, no wonder they kind of had like not again. More props to them. Like that's awesome that they did it. But like when I did find out like, oh, one of them owns his own marketing firm, I was like, well, that's why your marketing looks so good.
Yeah.
Because you got like $100,000 of free marketing.
Right. So we'll
good leg up, but
we'll figure it out.
Yeah. No, I know. I'm sort of tangentially friends with that group as well because they're stunt choreographer for the film. John Truey actually cast me in a short film that he made.
Oh my gosh.
So when I was touring around with this other film I'm in, I didn't make, but Tim Travers and the Time Traveler's Paradox, that festival's last year and a half. It was also while we were running into the Beavers crowd a lot. And so my friend John would be at some of these festivals, and he introduced me to like Mike, who directed the film, and a couple of the other folks. So
cool.
Yeah, so I tangentially know some of them.
A brush with the Beavers.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That's a euphemism.
Oh God.
You say anything goes on this podcast. And I've kept my swearing down.
Yeah. Okay, anyway, so let's see.
Quick, pivot.
Pivot. The couch up the stairs. Okay, so what is it going to be like to watch this with a Maine audience specifically?
That's a good question. I mean, this will be the first public Maine audience, because we did a private screening for like donors and friends and stuff at Bissell Brothers Brewing. And that was fun, a lot of fun, obviously a lot of support in the room, because people are already kind of like, well, we know Sam, and like, we wanted this the whole, like, down the pipeline. So like, it's hard to really, like, you know, rate that as an experience. It's sort of like, well, we had a hometown, like, crowd rooting for us. Anyway, and also, no offense to Bissell Brothers, but it's not a theater. it was, you know, that screen's a little bit better for sports stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, like, but hey, again, thank you so much to them for letting us do
that.
Of
course, but
really
it's not a true kind of like cinematic experience.
Right, which is one of the few like one of the only things about that experience that I wish I could have changed is I was like, you know, oh, God, it does play. It looks so much better and sounds so much better in a theater, just because you're without all the extra, you know, stimuli like of a room like that. You don't miss as much stuff, and again, I feel like so much tiny jokes and little things you can miss in the movie that having in a theater definitely drills a lot of it home. But I'm excited. It's one of those things where I don't know. I love Maine so much, and I think it's the best place, and I really want people, when they watch it, to go, like, hopefully to appreciate that this is all coming from a place of love. And I think it does come through that way. But, like, I sometimes dread that people are going to be like, he's making fun of us. And I'm just like, I'm really not. I'm really just, like, trying to hone in on, like, what a cool, unique place this is. And just, like, and I think it's kind of, I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's actually more, it's kind of universal to any small town anywhere, which is really what I want to push with this movie, is that it's like, it's hyper specific, and that's why, you know, I think it feels unique. But through that hyper specificity, I think it's actually pretty, you know, national, and it's kind of its relatability, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Totally.
Which is a very long-winded way of saying, like, I hope they like it.
Yeah. Well, do you think that you're being from Maine, do you think that helps mitigate any of that? Like, if people know that you're from Maine?
I would hope so. Yeah. I mean, you know, I would be shocked if it didn't. But I mean, I know, like, Mainers are Mainers. Like, we tend to kind of eschew people from the outside. And, like, you know, it's sort of it's a cool club to be a part of, and we don't want everybody, like, trying to get in on the club. And, you know, part of me also thinks, like, well, I do live in New York. Like, is someone going to be like, some city slicker opinion of Maine? And I'm like, no, it's not. At least I don't think it's not. I don't think it is. So, you know, I'm always interested about that. I'm also just interested about, like, what Mainers think about, like, what I take to be kind of unique values and things about Maine. And, like, you know, I'm also just like, so, like, I know the accents aren't, like, 100% nailing it, but also, like, not bad, right? Like, is it okay?
Better than a lot of fake Maine accents that you see.
And I also am very aware some of the accents are not Maine at all.
No, and that's okay.
And it's okay. And I hope that people when they watch it don't go like, what the hell was that? That's not a Maine. And I'll be like, I know, I'm aware. But that actor wanted to do that, and I was not going to tell them not to because it's funny and different.
It was so funny. When I first watched it, for like the first couple scenes with the subtitles, I was confused. I was like, oh no, like they didn't conform the subtitles. I was like, wait, are these like open captions? Like, is it like open caption burned in? So they didn't conform the captions with what's actually being said on screen. Yeah. They just like fed in the script or whatever, and they didn't actually like conform and then I obviously realized it was all a joke.
I was up to some bullshit.
I was like, oh, okay, got it.
So that came out of a test screening, actually.
Oh, fun.
We did a test screening in New York like a year in January of last year. Yeah. And the movie at that point was done in 93 minutes. And I walked in like all cocky, like, we've gutted this thing. There's nothing else we could take out of it. And of course, 5 minutes into the screening, I was like, oh my God, this sucks. And so anyone who sees this, who's making a movie, do test screenings. You will want to rip your skin off in the theater, but it is worth it because it will fix your movie. Anyway, we gave out questionnaires and collected them afterwards, and like a very regular thing was everybody saying like, I have no idea what some of these people are saying. And I was like, okay, maybe it would be funny to subtitle at least Booger.
Yeah.
And then as we were subtitling, I was like, oh, maybe it'd be funny to like over-translate this.
Yeah.
And then as the movie goes on, maybe it gets more and more like departure from what he's actually saying.
Yeah.
And like it's always the gist, but maybe it's just very far afield.
Yeah.
And so we did that, and it was just like the joy of making a mockumentary is you can just find new bits, and like that was it was literally me and my editor as I'm feeding him like writing things down, like what if it says this at the bottom of the screen instead, and he'd just go, yeah, it's dumb, put it in. So it was a lot of that.
I love that. Yeah, it's dumb, put it in.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, so this is my last question, unless there's any other question or anything else you want to say. But
You can take them from the audience.
yeah,
They're so quiet. It's
Anyone?
amazing. Yeah. Great turnout, though.
Yeah, great. We'll have a better turnout probably on Thursday.
I would hope so.
Hope so. Yeah.
A couple more.
Okay, so last question. Do you have a hot take about movie theater popcorn?
Not really. I don't. I will admit I'm more of a Diet Coke and that's all when I go to
Really?
a movie. Yeah.
You don't do popcorn?
Not usually.
Wow.
Because I'm an actor, I have to watch my figure. No, the few times, in the instances I do have popcorn, usually too salty.
Too salty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't need to be going fucking ham on. Like, it's just like, well, that is a problem with every restaurant in America. Is too much salt.
Too salty.
But no, I think there is definitely a too much butter, too much salt problem most of the time.
Yeah.
Which I think in a lot of cases is done by is self-inflicted because you have the option to overdo it.
Right. If you're going over and putting the salt in and just
right. Yeah. And you're just like
yeah. Well, so yeah,
and butter
agree.
too, where you're just like, I just love pumping this, and I have no idea how this will, in any way inflict pain upon me later.
Right. Right. And now it's just sitting in a pool of butter. Yeah.
One thing I will say I do is not popcorn itself, but related to popcorn is the weird subculture of buckets now that has started. I'm kind of obsessed. Not obsessed with. Obsessed would imply that I care a lot. But it is something I've clocked, and I'm like, this is dumb, but I kind of like it.
Would you make buckets for this film?
Well, this is kind of what I was getting into is I mean, I don't know if there's any way to do that in any sort of affordable fashion.
Yeah.
Would be fun to get like Super Yaki to do it or something, or some other like cool indie merch person if we get our cult following at some point. But for a post at some point, my girlfriend also runs our social media, and we have debated like we're gonna throw up some image of like what our popcorn bucket would be if we could make one. I think the last thing she generated was like a red snapper hot dog bucket, and it looks very weird. And I was like, yeah, that kind of that's what it should be, something that's like a little like, the hell is that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like just something super weird and Maine niche like that. And I feel like if we ever do anything like that, it should be something mildly disconcerting like that, maybe a little uncomfortable, but immediately identifiable of like, yeah, that's from that weird movie. Sure is. So less of a hot take on popcorn, more of a popcorn culture.
I love that. I mean, popcorn does have a culture, so it's
important
to talk about.
I'm sorry, I'm not like a great imbiber of it.
No, but I don't understand you, but I accept you.
Hey, you don't have to do either of those. It's fine. Just watch my movie. The movie at this point is its own thing.
Yes.
Separate the art from the artist. Right?
There you go. All right. Anything else you wanted to add, Charlie? Anything that you wanted to ask?
I do have one thing to shill for that I always forget to do, and so it's great when I don't sometimes. My big soapbox that I love to get on, and it's one that I've had to learn through being on other movies and doing Q&As and having to yell it from the fucking rooftops. But the biggest way that anyone seeing this and anyone who goes and likes to support indie film and does not want everything to be nothing but franchises, sequels, and the same slop over and over and over again, the best thing you can do to support like indie film and creativity is to rate the movies and to give reviews and to do that on Letterboxd and to do that on Rotten Tomatoes and to do that on IMDb, because distributors actually look at that stuff. And no, they don't look at it for giant movies that are already like, I mean they do, but like that's for like, well, when we make the third sequel to this, like we know what the audience didn't care for. But for small indie tiny little films that have a lot of trouble getting into any sort of limelight, and especially have trouble getting any sort of distribution, distributors, first thing they'll do probably, outside of like looking over your materials, is look up where you are on Letterboxd and go like, all right, what are people saying about it? What's its, how many stars is it averaging? Little things like that. And so if you really, if you like my movie, if you see my movie, please go on there, rate it, review it, and if you have the bandwidth, go do that on all the different like things on IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes. It really does make a massive difference. And I can't say that enough. It's like it is the one way that other than like paying for tickets, that people can actually sway anything in this industry that is so far, it's so hard to break into for indie film.
Totally.
And I'm gonna try and remember to say that at the Q&A after the screening, the day after tomorrow, and I'm gonna try and remember to say that every time in front of a crowd. It's just, it really is the only way that anything gets traction. People
don't always realize that they can be active participants in this ecosystem.
And it's like it sounds like me saying it like any number of platitudes after a movie where you're just like, oh, please just help us out. You love indie film, right? And I'm like, all right, yes, I know that, yes, you are still a tiny fraction of a thing, but your voice is so much more important on an indie film than it is to go rail on how much you hated the newest Spider-Man movie.
And even if it's not, even if you're not doing it for, like to help that indie film, at least you're consuming something, and then you're analyzing it and thinking about it, and then actually producing your own something.
Yeah.
You know, you're not just like consuming something blindly and then being like, great, let's go and get a burrito. You know,
Exactly. And I mean, honestly, I actually like. Yeah, I'm not saying anybody should go and give my movie a bad review, but I do actually like the reviews that are not like 5 stars, perfect.
Yeah.
I do actually like the reviews that like someone sits down and like actually has like put thought into it, because then it's really great for me to read, just because like then I see elements in my movie that I never saw before.
Yeah.
And I mean, yes, even the positive ones, if you know, it's just fun to see what people latch on to. Like sometimes people will remember a quote from the movie and throw that into their review, and I'll be like, "Oh, that stuck with you! Thank God, yes, it worked."
Right.
But yeah, no, I have to keep shouting that from the rooftops, because like no matter how much you say it after a screening, you're like, "Cool, I got 2 more reviews, and there were definitely 50 people there."
Yeah. Yeah.
So just gonna keep beating that drum.
Yeah. No, that's a great point, and we will definitely be sure to tell people to do that and to do that ourselves for sure. Yeah.
And it's so important, and not enough people say it after their screenings, especially at festivals that I've seen. And it's just like,
it's funny. I don't think I've ever heard a filmmaker say that.
Really?
Except for earlier this week at MIF. With A Moment in the Sun, which is also screening for MOF.
Oh, cool.
And the filmmaker for that, Mia, which we interviewed for this a couple days ago, she said, like, hey guys, if you can like rate it on Letterboxd, that would be really great. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's like, I love Letterboxd. Of course I'll do that, you know?
Well, also, I think another thing that happens is a lot of people forget that a lot of these indie films actually do put the legwork in to make a letterbox.
Yeah.
Even shorts. Like, it's not just features. It's like you're trying to find any and every avenue that you can get in front of eyes.
Right.
And it's a pain in the ass actually to get your movie on Letterboxd. Like, there's a lot of, I mean, it's doable. It's very doable, but it's a lot of like stuff you have to do. I similarly, I only learned to do this kind of plea because of traveling around with Tim Travers, and the PR team behind that was like, anytime you do a Q&A, please talk about this. Like, it's really helpful. And then the only other person similarly that I've seen do that, do you know the No Film School podcast? So Gigi, who runs that, she she just had her directorial debut, and we were both at the same festival, and she interviewed me about my film there, and I also caught her film, I Really Love My Husband, there, and at the Q&A afterwards, I thought she had watched a video of me doing the same exact thing, because she said almost verbatim what I just said now. She's like, please help indie film, please go rate it on Letterboxd, please go rate like any way you can. And I was like, I literally afterwards, I was like, hey, and she was like, see, like I had said that in a video that I posted on my Instagram. She's like, huh? I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so she's,
no, we're all on the same page.
Yeah. And I was just like, go figure. Yeah. There you are.
Yeah. Well, great, cool. Well, Charlie, anything else good?
If this is out before the movie, come see the movie.
Yes.
And if you don't, you're dead to me.
Well, thank you so much. This was so much fun.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Yay. Awesome. That's a wrap.
I love venting about the stupidity of the fucking indie film world.
I know.